Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, thought I'd take this opportunity to start on the maintenance videos. One of our members, Grace, has got a problem with a battery charging issue. The battery keeps going flat. It can ruin your battery. Batteries for starting a bike or a car aren't designed to be drained flat. They're charged to a full level, and then you have cranking amps. So when you start the car or the bike, it takes a little bit of the power from the top of the battery to start the vehicle. Then the charging system is going to top that back up, so they're never getting fully flat. They're not being used fully. They use a little bit, then they top back up. Now the way we top the battery back up while we're riding, inside is a stator. It's basically a alternator or a generator for a car. So this is a generator or a stator, and what this does, as it's spinning, it makes alternating current, AC current, and that current then ends up in a rectifier. Now this regulator and rectifier converts that current into DC, direct current, which in turn charges the battery. So while that's spinning, that's charging, unless there's a break or a problem somewhere in between there. So that is essentially your charging system, here to a rectifier to a battery. So if the battery's not charging, the problem is before the battery. So it's either going to be the rectifier or your stator. It's going to be unlikely that it's the stator. Alright, if anything's going to go first, it's going to be the rectifier. We're going to use a couple of bits of equipment. We're going to use an electrical test set. I'm going to use a jumper pack to get the bike going. The first job we've got to do is test the voltage of the battery whilst it's not running. So we've got a base charge. If it's below 12, 11 and a half, 12, you're probably not going to get your bike started. We need cranking amps, and to create that we need voltage, so we need to be above 12 volts. Above 12 volts is going to start your bike. So we're going to measure the current first that's coming out of the battery, then we're going to start the bike, then we're going to measure the current again. And what should happen is, while the bike's running, you should be reading round about 13 to 14 volts at the battery. At that point we know this is doing its job. It's converting the electricity into direct current, it's charging the battery. So let's crack on. So we've done the fault finding, we've done the diagnostic, we've checked the voltage from the battery, we've checked the voltage from the battery while the bike's running, and fortunately in this case everything's working fine. It's charging. It just had a flat battery because it's been stood for God knows how long. However, changing the rectifier is a very simple job. You're going to buy like for like, so when you're looking around the internet, make sure you've got the correct make and model of your bike, because the plugs are slightly different. So let's just have a look at how we change the rectifier. Okay, so we've tested the battery whilst the bike is turned off. We've got the baseline voltage, which if I remember rightly was 11.4 something, 11.45 volts. That in this case wasn't enough to start the bike. We've tested the bike whilst it was running. We started it with a jumper pack, then we tested the voltage again. The voltage was way up, it was 13.99, 14 volts. So we know that it's charging, we know that's fine. It was just flat because it's been stood for a while. So we need to remove the old rectifier. We follow the cables back, and there's usually one plug on the smaller bikes. You've probably got two plugs on the larger bikes. So undo the plugs, make sure the plugs are the same as the one that you're about to fit. Literally plug it in, bolt it back up, and Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt. If your battery's still going flat after, or it's not charging, after you've checked the rectifier and that everything's good, you've probably got a knackered battery. If it's been going flat for a long time, like I said earlier on in the video, you will knacker the cells up in your battery. So maybe a new battery as well as a rectifier. However, it's not going to hurt. You know it's new, you know the battery is good, you know the rectifier is good, and you shouldn't have any more charging problems for quite a long time.